Well, Texas politics tonight with a price check. Insulin is expensive. Some Texans pay $700 or more for their life-saving medicine. In the last 20 years, the price of insulin has just skyrocketed. 1,200% you see right there. But manufacturing costs have remained relatively constant. The fight for more affordable insulin was personal for one Texas lawmaker. A fight that's ended with a bill on the governor's desk that will lower the cost of insured Texans.
12 News reporter Amelia White sat down with the lawmaker who introduced that bill, and she also talked to Southeast Texans who have struggled to pay for insulin to survive.
Jordan Dage, you know, the average Texan may not know how expensive a 30-day supply of insulin can be. You can actually compare that price to someone's car note or mortgage. But thanks to one Texas state representative, insured Texans can soon pay under $100 for their insulin shots. A little brown bag.
If you're not on insulin, you don't really understand.
It's filled with medication meant to help people like Regina Hancock.
I was diagnosed as diabetic in 1994. I didn't start off with the insulin, but several years into being diabetic, I had to go to the insulin.
But it's the cost of insulin that forces some people to have to choose between life or death.
It should be a human right. A lot of people can't survive, can't live without it.
Hancock says she knows what it's like to break the bank on the prescription that controls her blood sugar.
Last year, for 1 month's supply of one of my medications, I wanted over $400 a month. And that's with a coupon, savings coupon.
For Representative James Tellerico, the fight for affordable health care is personal.
When I went to go pick up my first 30-day supply of insulin, it cost me $684 out of pocket, and that's with insurance.
So he filed House SB 827. Its goal is to cap insulin at $25 a month.
And so this session, I filed legislation to cap the price of insulin. We passed that bill off the floor of the House, and now it's headed to the governor's desk for a signature.
So what started off as a personal fight may turn into a big win for the 8.2 Texans living with diabetes.
We have people spending as much for insulin as they do for their mortgage.
An anticipated victory that Hancock says can be summed up in 4 simple words.
I'm very thankful.
Tellerico tells me the cap price for the insulin shots should go into effect on September 1st. Again, this only applies to insured Texans and state-regulated health plans. Live in Beaumont, Amelia White, 12 News.
All right, Amelia, let's stick with politics tonight. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick wants Governor Abbott to call a special session. And at this point, Abbott says it's premature to make that kind of commitment. Patrick is frustrated because 3 of his top priority bills did not make it through the House. Democrats spent the day last night delaying, asking lots of colleagues questions and making objections until the midnight deadline passed. That effectively killed the bill that would ban transgender students from playing on sports teams based on their gender identity. The other 2 bills killed were Senate Bill 12, which would let any Texan sue Facebook and Twitter if they get kicked off the platform, and also Senate Bill 10, which would end taxpayer-funded lobbying. Now, lawmakers have yet to pass any energy reform legislation. Remember in February, lawmakers said this session was going to be all about fixing the broken system so Texans would never sit in the freezing cold again. More than 150 Texans died during the February freeze.
There's also a lot of attention on House Bill 3979. This is nicknamed the Critical Race Theory Bill, and it would ban teachers from discussing hot topic current events in class and districts from including political activism in lessons. Teachers have expressed some concern. Supporters of the bill, including State Senator Brian Hughes, say they want to preserve the education system, but, quote, present it truly and accurately, especially those founding principles that make Americans so special.
Power City now, and tonight the lockout continues for nearly 650 union workers at Exxonmobil in downtown Beaumont. Dozens of them hit the highway early this morning and headed to North Texas to rally outside the company's headquarters. They protested as shareholders met. Earlier this month, the union workers shined a message on the plant's facilities in Beaumont. And before the lockout, they held this rally for their rights. Union reps say they're working towards a fair and more equitable labor contract.
ExxonMobil needs to end the lockout and quit messing with our safety, our job security, and our seniority.
The latest negotiations between the company and the USW took place May 12th. So here's where the company stands. Exxonmobil put out a statement to 12 News saying in part today, the current offer is a 1.5% pay increase for most refinery personnel, and they'll continue to engage in good faith negotiations until a contract is ratified. Now, at that shareholder meeting, the energy giant ousted at least 2 of its 12 board members. They're being replaced with directors who are seen as a better fit to fight climate change and other key issues. The voting process, the tabulation takes time, so we'll know more later.
And right now, the union that represents Beaumont transit workers says nearly 90% of buses are unfit for service. These findings after the union's local chapter conducted an in-depth safety survey. The union claims the city doesn't have a body shop to send the buses for repair and that they've been rebuffed by the city for the last 2 years as they try to address safety concerns. The chapter president saying this: the safety inspection is damning evidence that they couldn't care less about us, about the people riding, or about the people who share the road with us. ATU Local 1031 has been in collective bargaining negotiations with the transit management of Beaumont First Transit since October. Outgoing mayor Becky Ames says she can't comment and has referred us to the city planning and community development director. So we're going to reach out to him tomorrow.
Well, new tonight, Texas Land Commissioner George P. Bush wants more money from the feds to fight flooding around Houston. Bush says he has submitted a request to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, for Harris County to receive a direct allocation of $750 million to fight flooding. The announcement comes almost a week after the GLO left Houston and most of Harris County off the list for $1 billion in federal flood assistance.
All right, speaking of rain, ours is pretty much a memory at this point. Today, we finally got some dry weather, and our Roofing 911 sky cam shows a pretty nice night. Maybe a little muggy, but hey, guys, it's May.
So, Patrick, it is. Patrick's with us. We're curious, how long will the rain stay away?
Well, it looks like mainly a dry day tomorrow. A few showers coming in on Friday. We'll detail that in the extended forecast in just a few minutes. But we've got mostly clear skies outside. And as you said, Dejanique, it is muggy outside. No doubt about that. Dew points in the low to mid 70s equals high humidity in southeast Texas. So the morning will start off with mostly clear skies, 73, rising to the lower 80s by 10 a.m. And it looks like mainly dry Thursday. Friday at 30% coverage, and we've had to up it again. We're now at a 60% coverage on Saturday. I know that's just what you wanted to hear, but hey, I think you're going to enjoy Sunday and Monday across southeast Texas after that front comes through.
Developing tonight, we're learning more about that California workplace shooting that happened at a light rail yard in San Jose.
The gunman was an employee at the yard. He took the lives of 8 of his co-workers before finally turning the gun on himself after being cornered by cops. According to the gunman's ex-wife, the man would tell her that he wanted to kill people at work. Well, just a few miles away from the scene, a home thought to belong to the gunman was up in flames, likely set on fire just before the first shots were fired. Now investigators are trying to figure out why this type of tragedy happened yet again.
When are we going to come to grips with this? When are we going to put down our arms, literally and figuratively? Our politics, stale rhetoric, finger pointing, all a hand-wringing consternation that produces nothing except more fury and frustration.
Now, the San Jose massacre, now the 61st mass shooting in the U.S. in the month of May alone. President Biden urged Congress to pass gun control bills after lowering flags half-staff.
In case you missed it, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office has convened a special grand jury that could eventually decide whether an indictment is warranted against former President Donald Trump. This part of the growing criminal investigation that's lasted 2 years. Until now, prosecutors used previously impaneled grand juries to issue subpoenas and gather evidence. So far, no charges have been filed, and the former president still calling all of this a witch hunt.
More than 100 pounds of suspected cocaine has washed ashore over the past week in Matagorda County. People keep finding packages of drugs on the beach, but the sheriff's office is urging anyone, if you find it, don't touch it. They could contain drugs like fentanyl, which if touched could be lethal.
These Houston firefighters are in trouble tonight. Well, these aren't the firefighters, are they? I don't think so. Okay, but the firefighters apparently involved in this. And we're going to tell you the backstory. The firefighters are accused of letting a local marketing company shoot some rather risque YouTube video there. It featured the fire trucks and has been viewed thousands of times. The Houston Fire Department telling our sister station no one should have agreed to let the company do this. The department launching a formal investigation into Fire Station 46.
Now, if you're ready to add to your family and adopt a pet, this is the perfect time. Beaumont Animal Care is hosting a 3-day adoption event that continues through Friday. The shelter is currently over capacity with 130 animals ready to be adopted. As a little extra incentive, they've reduced the adoption fee to just $20. That includes spay, neuter, microchip, and shots. The shelter will be open from 10 a.m. to 5.